The holidays are great, but they can have some negative effects on your health. P3 Healthcare is breaking down how to stay well during this time.
We're talking about staying healthy physically and mentally during the holidays, especially as we enter that winter blue season, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So seasonal affective disorder is basically a seasonal depression that happens when there's a decrease in the daylight hours. It happens all across the spectrum from young adults all the way to our seniors. Unfortunately, our seniors are especially vulnerable to it because they have a lot of chronic health conditions. As many as 80% of them have chronic health conditions, so they're especially vulnerable to it. Some of the signs and symptoms can include loss of interest in things that you used to like to do, feelings of sadness, feelings of hopelessness, fatigue, just the generalized fatigue, and even some anxiety.
Definitely. I feel like the current conditions we have now with the pandemic might heighten that as well, right?
Absolutely. We're all a lot socially isolated, and so it's important to reach out. If you can't connect with someone physically, video calls, just picking up the telephone.
What can be done to prevent this seasonal depression, especially for our elderly community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So exposing yourself to as much sunlight as possible. The sun comes out really early, so if you could wake up a little bit early, go walk the dog, connect with nature, and exercise is always really, really helpful. We recommend at least 30 minutes a day or as tolerated.
Why is it important, though, to be cautious about holiday food?
It's important to watch the amount of food that you're eating, kind of break it up into smaller meals instead of eating those real big, large meals, and just really going for it and really overindulging.
So not piling the plate up this high.
Not piling the plate up as high. You could maybe go back a couple of times, but
Right.
Smaller portions would definitely be helpful.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you. And what are some of those ways to create a healthier meal this holiday season?
Halving the amount of sugar that a recipe calls for. So if it calls for 1 cup of sugar, maybe try using half a cup of sugar. Alternatively, you could use fresh fruits or frozen fruits that don't have added sugar or salt are some really good ways that you could reduce on that sugar. Also using different spices instead of trying to salt things up. Use vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, different spices to add the flavor and without adding a lot of that sodium. Trying to avoid also those heavy salt condiments like mustard, ketchup, pickles. Try to use fresh tomatoes, salsa, different things like that would really be helpful. And then if a recipe calls for whole milk, try to use skim milk, or 1% would definitely be a better alternative.
Great information. For more information on this topic and on P3 Healthcare, call 702-333-4700 or visit p3nv.org. Las Vegas Now will be right back.